What's up guys, Gas says Steve here, and this is going to be a video that's going to make toy collectors everywhere scream. Whatever, I don't care. So I'm going to open these retro collection Empire Strikes Back, Boba Fett and a Hoth Leia. Now, fear not. I do have these in box and I'm going to keep them boxed. These are just extra ones. It cost a few quid, a tenner each. So I'm more than happy to open them now. The reason I'm opening them is because I'm going to display them with my vintage collections. So basically, Boba Fett, if you buy him in this kind of condition, you're looking at, nigh on sort of like 40-50 quid. He looks great. He's not an original, clearly. Well, he is an original. He's an original. Is it Kenner that make these? Disney, Hasbro, Kenner, whoever. So he is an original. He's done from the same mold as the original, so he's going to be exactly the same as Leia. Yeah, I don't really see a problem with it. I'm collecting the vintage collection. There's going to be figures that I can't get hold of and they're going to cost me a fortune to buy, which I'm okay with. It's just a shortcut, and obviously sort of like he's in pristine condition, so to look at him on display up on the shelf, I'm quite happy with doing this. So if you don't like it, then hey, do you know what? That's perfectly fine by me, because you are your own person, as am I my own person. So I'm gonna try and preserve the box, but I'm gonna cut just around the plastic here. So again, I'm gonna keep it in a condition. I did open the other ones that I've got, so the box ones that I've got, they are open. The reason I've opened them, actually not the Empire Strikes Back, I tell a lie. The reason I opened the Star Wars ones, the vintage collection ones, is because when they originally came out, they had this little warning manual in the sides, right behind the figure, and it looked stupid. To be fair, it looked, it was one of those things that just didn't work, and I just really wanted to get them out of them. I'm going to move my light because I can see it glaring on the... still doing it. There it is. There. Yeah, it ruined the sort of display of the actual figures, seeing the warning label, or the warning... what's the word I'm looking for? I can't get my words out. The warning pamphlet, leaflet, whatever. There you go, he's open now. So I'll do the same with Leia. And it looks stupid. So I also, on my original ones, I took the retro collection sticker off, which again, I'm really glad I did, because they do look tons better. I don't think for half a second that these vintage or these retro collection will hold any value, so I'm not that bothered. I am keeping the cases, like I said earlier. Getting all the corners a bit of a mare, but yeah, it is what it is. I've still got them on card backs anyway, so if they do raise in value, then happy days. If they don't, which I don't expect they do, or don't expect they will, not by a massive amount anyway, but do you know what, whatever, even if they do, they do. And I'll live with my decision forever and ever and ever. I'll look back on this video and I'll cry. I won't cry. I don't cry. Here's Leia. Princess Leia in Hoth gear. Now let's see if I can get this out. Come on, Leia. You can do this. There you go. So Leia's weapon. Pop that over there. And there she is. Princess Leia, looking fabulous. Maybe said. I am going to do the sniff test. Now, anybody that doesn't know what sniff test is, you obviously quite clearly have never collected Star Wars figures. It's a smell of plastic, but it's such a nice smell. I'm not a druggie, but it's such a nice smell. So Leah, come here for sniffing. I can confirm that she smells absolutely fuck all like an original Star Wars figure. So disappointing. Obviously different plastics are used. It doesn't smell like a Star Wars figure. Grab it together. Keep it together. So there she is. Articulation on her arms and her legs. She does look, it is the same mould that they used originally, so it's the same kind of embossing on her arms, her top. There you go, that's the legs, if you can focus. I don't think there's... I don't know if there's anything on there. It says 2020 on this leg here. I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera. And on this one it says made in Vietnam. So made in Vietnam. She's made in Nam, Vietnam. So a little look. Oh, that goes in nicely. So there we go. You can play out that famous scene in Empire Strikes Back when she goes and shoots. Oh no, she doesn't shoot anybody in Empire Strikes Back, does she? Never mind. Well, not in half anyway. So that's Leia. Let's get into Boba Fett. Boba, Boba, Boba.
Boba Fett. Boba Fett. Where?
Boba Fett. Here he is, in his plastic. I'm going to get his weapon out first, because I think that makes the flexibility on his legs to try and get him out of his plastic easier. Yeah, I'm alright. I am right. So Boba Fett, again, an extremely collectible vintage figure. Does cost, even the damaged ones. I mean, this is why my decision is what it is, if the truth be known, because the condition on this, obviously, he looks amazing. The condition you can buy a 40 quid Boba Fett figure for, you'd be lucky if he's got half of his head chewed off by some 7-year-old kid. He doesn't look half as good. All the paint's worn off. You can restore them. You can paint, make them look damn sight better. But hey, this you know, this is a definite sort of viable option. I would never try and pass these off for original figures. That's just not, clearly you couldn't even do that, because like with Leia, pretty sure he would have so he's got, I'm going to take it off camera a minute because I can't see on there. So he's got Vietnam, just Vietnam on there, and it's got 2020. So again, you really couldn't pass it off as an original figure. Not that you would want to, that would just be stupid and naughty. But there he is, Boba Fett, looking sharp, looking shiny, looking like a badass, which we all know Boba Fett is. Articulation on his arms, articulation on his legs. Not so much on that one. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, he looks great. He looks fantastic. I mean, the colours they used, I think on here, I haven't got a vintage Boba to compare it with, compare it with, but they're pretty much as I remember them. Got a little mark on there. Don't know what that is. Never mind. Interesting. The plastic doesn't feel the same as a normal Star Wars figure, because they're very sort of flexible here, so they obviously haven't used the same plastics, and probably through kind of health and safety and sort of like world issue reasons, like plastic they used to use back in the 70s and 80s, it was probably poisonous, probably ruined the ozone layer, and obviously need to do something about that, so they make these plastic toys now. But yeah, he looks great. I mean, this is to actually sort of like hold an original. I gotta say, there's an awful lot of hate for reproductions in the Star Wars circles. I've only just like came about, but there's loads of like YouTube videos out there slating reproductions, some real nasty, hateful stories about sort of like death threats and shit like that. Come on, for fuck's sake, that's just absolutely ridiculous, because at the end of the day, we're all collectors, we've all got different ideas on different things, and so what? Do you know, I get the purist, I get the whole sort of like you know, you want the vintage things, you want everything to look kind of worn, kind of used if you're collecting loose figures, and you're happy for that, and I'm happy for that as well. But they sit there on the shelf, right? And you look at them, and you look at Boba Fett, and you think, oh yeah, he looks really good with his half-eaten head and his missing weapon and all the paint's faded on the thing, and hey, that cost me 40 quid. Or you can go and buy a £10. It's not a fucking reproduction, actually. It's like, you know, it's the retro collection, so Hasbro it's an official product, so whatever on that front. But even if it's a reproduction, even if it's a bloody 3D printer, good on you. Do you know what I mean? They sit there on the shelf, and I just look at them. That's it. Don't really play with them, because I'm a 44-year-old man, and that would just be wrong. But don't really play with them. They just sit there. I look at them and I think, oh yeah, when I was a kid, I used to collect all these, and it's the visuals for me. It's not necessarily the purist side of things. It's to look at it and to have nostalgia memories of when life was simpler, life was easier. There was not too much to worry about, and you know, you could collect Star Wars figures and play with them for hours on end, and yeah, that's a collection habit for me. I haven't really shown these on my YouTube videos lately, but obviously there's been pictures on Instagram. If you've got Instagram, I think it's Gashead66 or Gashead66 Steve or Gashead Steve. You find me, I'm there. Post a lot of things on there. So, but yeah, follow me over on Instagram, because making YouTube videos, I need a mojo. I need to sort of like get into the habit of making videos and doing them. You know what it's like. It's like you sit in front of a camera or behind the camera, as I am now, and sometimes you just don't get that oomph, and it's like sometimes you don't feel like it, and if you force yourself to make videos, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons, aren't you? So this is a video that I wanted to make. This is a video I had these sitting there for a couple of days now. I wanted to open them, I wanted to make the video, I wanted to have my little rant about reproductions versus vintage versus fucking 3D print versus bloody death threats versus stupid people versus, I don't know, yeah, versus everything. But collect how you want to collect. Couldn't give a fuck. Good on you for, you know, if you want vintage, you want vintage, that's it. I do want vintage, but I'm happy to compromise, and these kind of things, more than happy to compromise. If they look shit, if they look cheap, no, I wouldn't, you know. But that, I'm not being funny, that looks as I remember it to look. That looks as I remember it to look, apart from the weapon. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? So there we go. That's Boba and Leia unboxed from the retro collection. Let me bring in the boxes. The retro collection. So again, this leaflet, doesn't that look so much better without the leaflet in the bottom? I mean, like, obviously today's how can I say it very PCly without saying the snowflake or woke thing. Obviously this needs to be in somewhere, because hey, you know, kids back in the 80s didn't used to eat toys and sort of like choke on little bits of plastic and things like that, because we were sensible. I didn't need a warning to tell me not to put a Leia in my mouth or a Boba Fett on my bum or whatever, Do you know what I mean? I'm sure in this leaflet here it probably says do not insert Boba Fett up your backside, because if somebody inserts Boba Fett at their backside, they go to hospital, they get Boba Fett removed from their backside, and then they sue Hasbro, Kenner, Disney, whoever produced these, and they get lots of money. As a kid, I would not try and stick him out my backside. But today's kids, yeah, okay. So I don't need that. Kids need that for today. So there we go. That's my unboxing of Boba Fett and Princess Leia Hoth, the retro collection, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back series, whatever they want to bring out. They've done a Mandalorian one, hoping and praying they do a Return of the Jedi one. If they don't, do you know what? I'm covered, because bear with me. Let me just put these to one side. Because do you know what? I've got a backup. And my backup is reproduction figures. So there we go. That's one I've made myself. So printed the card back. Well, I actually bought that card back from eBay, but we won't go into that because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, because I don't do that. And then inserted onto a card. I haven't done a great job, but inserted onto a card, and then you've got the plastic blister, which isn't an original one, but I wanted it not to be an original one. Big shout out to Reynolds Reviews, Luke, who gave me these free plastic inserts. I'll show you this on that. So that's a bike escape, but he looks great. Really happy with that. I bought a little corner cutter, so you cut the corners. And then I've got, I'll show you this exactly as it is. So Bushk, I think that's how you pronounce it, but that's the little plastic. I've taken the little hook off there. You can get blister packs like these ones, which I'll show you in a second. But yeah, that's, I mean, that to me, you put that in a box, I trim it up a little bit, get off that glue, which I've done. Not overly impressed with the back, because it does look like a print. The front, however, I mean, that looks great. That looks better than the originals. Then you get an original blister plaque, you stick it on there, and you've got a carded Return of the Jedi vintage figure. Obviously the figures, those figures didn't, they're not that cheap. I think it's 20 quid for Bish Bash Bosh. So they're not cheap, but this one bought on eBay. The actual print is printed directly onto the card. That one's directed onto photo paper, and then obviously you put your card in the middle there, so that's why that looks shinier and all round sort of like 4K-ish better. But this one's been printed directly onto cards, which makes the card look better. The card looks pretty good, but it does take the edge off the actual print itself. So but the back does look better. You win some, you lose some, but that's Han in trench coat. Flasher Han, I used to call him. A little weapon in his hand there. And then I've got Jedi Knight Luke as well. And the same scenario with the print on the cards. There's the back. And there's Jedi Knight Luke with his blue lightsaber. Dun dun dun. Anybody watch The Mandalorian? Fucking hell, that's good, isn't it, eh? Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I will speak to you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this. Please do leave a like, comment. Love talking about Star Wars these days. It's where my passion is. I think I'm moving away from games. I do need to do an update video, because I've definitely moved more into toys than games. Still play, still here for talk and games. There is my minis there, which I play for my retro games. But yeah, please do like and comment below. Follow me on Instagram. Interaction on Instagram's great. So nice and easy. Lots of beautiful pictures on there, and I look forward to interacting get my words out, interacting with you real soon. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.